Nothing beats the smell of freshly baked bread. The aroma wafts through the air, filling every corner of your home with a sense of warmth and comfort. It's a scent that can instantly transport you back to childhood memories of family gatherings and cozy mornings. The process of baking bread is not just about the end product. It's about the journey and the joy it brings along the way. It fills your home with warmth and makes you feel all cozy inside. Imagine a chilly morning where the sun is just beginning to rise, casting a golden glow through your kitchen window. The smell of bread baking in the oven mingles with the fresh morning air, creating an atmosphere of pure bliss. Your family gathers around the table, eagerly waiting for that first slice, and in that moment, everything feels perfect. Making your own bread is easier than you think. It might seem intimidating at first, but with a little practice, you'll find that it's a simple and rewarding process. Start with basic ingredients: flour, water, yeast, and salt. Mix them together, knead the dough, and let it rise. The transformation from a sticky mixture to a smooth, elastic dough is nothing short of magical. And the best part? You don't need any fancy equipment, just your hands and a bit of patience. It's a fun activity for all ages. Baking bread can be a wonderful way to bond with your family. Get the kids involved. They'll love getting their hands messy and watching the dough rise. It's a great opportunity to teach them about the science of baking and the importance of patience. Plus, there's something incredibly satisfying about creating something from scratch together. It's a shared experience that brings everyone closer. Plus, it's so rewarding to slice into a loaf you made yourself. The moment you cut into that golden crust and see the soft, airy crumb inside, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment like no other. Each slice is a testament to your effort and care. And when you take that first bite, you'll know that all the time and energy you put into baking was worth it. Homemade bread just tastes better. There's a depth of flavor and texture that you simply can't get from store-bought bread. The crust is crisp and flavorful, the crumb is tender and moist, and the taste is rich and complex. Spread a little butter on a warm slice, and you'll experience a melt-in-your-mouth delight that is truly unparalleled. It's a taste that speaks of home, love, and care. Shop-bought bread often has lots of preservatives. While convenient, many store-bought breads are filled with additives and preservatives to extend their shelf life. These ingredients can affect the taste and texture of the bread, making it less enjoyable. When you bake your own bread, you know exactly what's going into it. You can avoid unnecessary chemicals and focus on quality ingredients. When you bake at home, you control the ingredients. You have the freedom to choose the best flour, the purest water, and the freshest yeast. You can experiment with different types of flour, like whole wheat or rye, to create unique flavors and textures. You can also add other ingredients like seeds, nuts, or dried fruits to make your bread even more special. The possibilities are endless, and each loaf can be a new adventure. You can use the best flour and add your favorite flavors. Imagine a loaf infused with the earthy aroma of rosemary, or a bread studded with crunchy sunflower seeds. You can tailor each loaf to your taste, making it as simple or as complex as you like. This level of customization is one of the greatest joys of home baking. It's your bread made your way. Making bread is a journey. From mixing the ingredients to kneading the dough, from watching it rise to baking it to perfection, each step is a part of the adventure. It's a process that requires time and attention, but the rewards are immense. You'll learn to appreciate the art of baking and the beauty of creating something with your own hands. It's a journey that connects you to a tradition that has been passed down through generations. It's about taking simple ingredients and transforming them into something special. The magic of bread making lies in its simplicity. With just a few basic ingredients, you can create something extraordinary. The transformation that occurs during baking is nothing short of miraculous. The dough rises, the crust forms, and the flavors develop, all through the power of time and heat. It's a reminder of the wonders of nature and the joy of creation. Don't worry about making mistakes. Every baker, no matter how experienced, has had their share of mishaps. Maybe the dough didn't rise as expected, or the crust turned out too hard. These mistakes are all part of the learning process. Embrace them, laugh at them, and learn from them. Each mistake brings you one step closer to mastering the art of bread making. Even experienced bakers have bad days. There will be times when things don't go as planned, and that's okay. Baking is as much about the process as it is about the result. Take a deep breath, dust off the flour, and try again. Each attempt is a new opportunity to learn and grow. Remember, the joy of baking comes from the experience, not just the final product. Just enjoy the process and have fun. The most important thing is to enjoy yourself. Baking bread should be a joyful and relaxing activity. Savor each moment, from the feel of the dough in your hands to the smell of the bread in the oven. Share the experience with your loved ones and create lasting memories. In the end, it's not just about the bread, it's about the love and happiness that go into making it. Before we start baking, let's gather our tools. Having the right tools at your disposal can make the baking process smoother and more enjoyable. It's like preparing for an adventure. You need to be well equipped to ensure success. Don't worry, you don't need fancy equipment. The beauty of baking lies in its simplicity. With just a few basic tools, you can create delicious masterpieces. Most of these things you'll already have in your kitchen. Everyday items can be repurposed for baking, making it accessible for everyone. You will need a large bowl, measuring cups and spoons. These are essential for mixing and measuring your ingredients accurately. A large bowl gives you enough space to mix without making a mess. A trusty spoon for mixing is also crucial. Whether it's a wooden spoon or a silicone one, it should be sturdy enough to handle thick doughs and batters. And an oven, of course. Your oven is the heart of your baking process. Make sure it's preheated to the right temperature for the best results. A baking stone is optional but gives your bread a lovely crust. It helps distribute heat evenly, resulting in a perfect bake every time. You'll also need ingredients: flour. Flour is the foundation of most baking recipes. It provides structure and texture to your baked goods. Yeast, warm water, and salt. Yeast is a leavening agent that helps your dough rise, while warm water activates the yeast. Salt adds flavor and strengthens the dough, and a touch of sugar. Sugar not only sweetens your baked goods, but also helps with browning and tenderizing. That's it. See? Simple. With these basic tools and ingredients, you're ready to embark on your baking journey. Happy baking! Yeast is a living thing. It's a type of fungus that plays a crucial role in baking, especially in bread making. When you buy yeast from the store, it's in a dormant state, almost like it's sleeping. To get it to start working, we need to wake it up. It needs a little wake-up call to start working its magic. This wake-up call involves giving it some food and the right environment. Sugar acts as food for the yeast, and warm water provides the perfect environment for it to become active. In a bowl, sprinkle the yeast and a pinch of sugar into warm water. The water should be warm, but not too hot, ideally between 100 and 110 degrees Fahrenheit. If the water is too hot, it can kill the yeast, and if it's too cold, the yeast won't activate properly. Let it sit for about 10 minutes. During this time, the yeast will start to feed on the sugar and produce carbon dioxide gas. This process is called fermentation, and it's what causes the dough to rise. You'll see bubbles forming on the surface. These bubbles are a sign that the yeast is active and alive. The more bubbles you see, the more active your yeast is. That means the yeast is alive and ready to go. This is a crucial step in baking because if your yeast isn't active, your dough won't rise and your bread will be dense and heavy. If your yeast doesn't bubble, it might be old. Yeast has a shelf life, and if it's past its expiration date, it may not work properly. Always make sure to use fresh yeast for the best results. Always check the expiration date on the package. If your yeast is expired, it's best to get a new packet. Using fresh yeast ensures that your dough will rise properly and your baked goods will have the right texture and flavor. Fresh yeast is key to a good rise. When you use fresh, active yeast, you can be confident that your dough will rise beautifully, resulting in light, fluffy, and delicious baked goods. So always keep an eye on your yeast and make sure it's fresh and ready to go. Add the flour and salt to the yeast mixture. Now, get your hands dirty. Kneading is important. It develops the gluten in the flour, which gives the bread its structure. Push, pull, and turn the dough for about 10 minutes. It should become smooth and elastic. If the dough feels too sticky, add a little more flour. If it feels too dry, sprinkle in a few drops of water. Section 5. The first rise. Patience is key. Shape the dough into a ball and place it in a lightly oiled bowl. Cover the bowl with a clean tea towel and let the dough rise in a warm place for about an hour. This is called the first rise. The dough should double in size. Don't rush the rise. The yeast needs time to work its magic. A warm, draft-free spot is ideal for rising. Section 6. Shaping your loaf, a work of art. Gently punch down the risen dough to release the air. This is called knocking back the dough. Now, shape the dough into a loaf. You can make a round loaf, a baguette, or get creative with different shapes. Dust the loaf with flour and place it on a baking sheet. You can even use a baking stone for a crispier crust. Section 7. The second rise. Anticipation builds. Cover the loaf with the tea towel again and let it rise for another 30 minutes. This is the second rise. The loaf will puff up even more. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius during this time. This is a good time to slice a few diagonal cuts on top of the loaf. This helps the bread bake evenly. Section 8. Baking. The grand finale. Bake the loaf for about 30 to 35 minutes, or until it's golden brown and sounds hollow when you tap the bottom. The aroma of baking bread will fill your kitchen. Heavenly. If the top of the loaf is browning too quickly, loosely cover it with foil to prevent burning. Section 9. Cooling and enjoying the fruits of your labor. Remove the bread from the oven and let it cool completely on a wire rack. This is the hardest part. Resist the temptation to slice into it while it's hot. Once cooled, slice into your homemade bread and savor the taste of your accomplishment. Enjoy it with butter, jam, or your favorite toppings. Well done, baker!